you could see what I've got right next to me is a Virtual Boy, which was developed somewhat in the early 90s by Nintendo. That Gunpei Yokoi took this interest into the realms of virtual reality after the success of the Game Boy. That he wanted to take it to the next step in its evolution, try to introduce the virtual reality field to the system by immersing the player in the virtual reality world and that. But however, the whole back history of getting virtual reality off the ground was a hard sell, because it was an early attempt to get it off the ground in the 1980s. However, nobody took a keen interest into virtual reality. To see there was films like Tron and Lawnmower Man and Saban's series VR Troopers that delved into virtual reality became such a popularization, and to translate it into video gaming was a very hard concept to get off the ground. And to say that in Disneyland there was already the virtual reality technology there to immerse the player, to immerse the tourists who went to these theme parks to go on these virtual reality simulated rides, and that some deemed as successful with Spider-Man and Back to the Future retrospectively. But to introduce it into the home was quite different in a way to get off the ground. So it was dormant during for the rest of the 80s into the 90s until the talks of virtual reality took off the ground again, which they painted various types of devices and that which can play games that looks like virtual reality settings and that. But the main problem of the flaws of the concept of the Virtual Boy was the polygons, which the polygons in the game in general came out as in red and black polygons, which did not sit well to the aesthetic and the concept of virtuality. If they was to improve it and add colours and that, if this was to be a success, then the following versions of Virtual Boy would be a lot better designed with head straps to support it on your head, like the Sony VR headset, which they took that concept of Virtual Boy and made it a lot better, which became a huge success with the fans. However, there was kind of videos online how they modded it, and by including the head strap so you can put it on your head. So instead of having this attached to the set, then you can go around playing games at your own leisure. And some of them did mod the system, which can plug onto your TV, which instead of having to hunch over like this, it causes dramatic strain on the eye retinas, which at the time which they showcased it at the Games Expo over somewhere like Japan or whatever, where people used to go test the systems. However, the reviews was not quite so much well received. Some of them complained of nausea, sickness and disorientation because due to the fact your eyes have to put so much strain by doing this for a whole hour straight, and it didn't sit very well. And some also in the United States tested it, and they had the same critical problems, like it was highlighted in Japan or whatever, but the sales were damning. You only shifted of about 1,000 odd units. That didn't make it outside those territories which people in the United Kingdom and Europe and other parts of the world missed out. However, due to the resurgence of the system appeared on eBay, it became so much of a cult following and general interest, and with the rise of popularity of YouTube, there was a show called The Angry Video Game Nerd where James Rolfe highlighted the problems about the Virtual Boy, which he did so many tests and that, trying to balance it on his head, and it keeps on falling off due to the failure of this, which you could put it on your head. And Ben Heck did do a two-part video series about the teardown of Virtual Boy and modifying the problems and that in the second part, but he found an issue with the same set, which was these two here, these adjustment slots and that. He did say after a certain time they'll end up wearing out, so you kind of basically stuck for adjustments and that, and these, due to the fact they're not corrugated plastic and foam, they could be tricky to replace because they show gradual wear and tear at a certain time. And there was only a limited library of games you could play on it, which due to the fact there would be more if this was a success, and there would have been improvements where you can do a lot more to it than its limited capabilities and that. And due to the problem with the content and copyright situation with Nintendo, I can't show you hands-on gameplay footage, and not only that, it's very damn impossible to capture gameplay footage by just pointing the camera through these here. Because James Rolfe did say it was very tricky to capture the gameplay footage, but however, quite faithfully, thanks to somebody on YouTube, find a way to stream the video games from the system, and it's on YouTube, which I'm going to provide the links for that and Ben Heck took part a series of the Virtual Boy and the Virtual Boy review of the Angry Video Game Nerd in the description bar below. And yeah, it's a great system. You can't buy it anywhere else due to the fact you can only get them online for extensive amounts of money. You could get it a lot cheaper for just this. So those was made for spares and repairs. However, I was lucky to get a good, decent working one with the stem and a couple of other games that came in the actual bag. Yeah, it's a great concept of the Virtual Boy. Thank heavens that Sony improved on the concept and made it better, and it was a huge success. But sadly, due to the circumstances that had it, it was very hard to get hold of Gumpy Yokoi to interview him the failures about the Virtual Boy, due to the fact that he had an unfortunate tragic accident that took his own life. So which was very sad that he's not around to answer the problems and that. And that's the huge back history of the concepts and the failures of the Virtual Boy. And I will be doing reviews for my primary channel, which is Centrivez, in months to come. And this video is dedicated to Ben Heck and James Rolfe. And this is me being Frankie Croft Smales. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter at Frankie Smales. I'm on other media outlets and that. And until then, stay safe. May the force be with you, and fairly